Welcome to the Octopod. I'm Kyle Davis, head of the Office of the CTO. Join us as we dive into the latest technologies and trends shaping business. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a business leader, or just looking to stay ahead in the digital age, this podcast is for you. Let's unlock opportunities with technology together. Let's jump in.
Hi, it's Tim Russell, your host on this Octopod. I'm here joined by
Ashley Rolfe, Chief Technologist at Lenovo UK and Ireland.
Now, Ashley and I have a number of conversations on a regular basis, so we will do our best to try and keep this on the straight and narrow. And to that intents and purposes, what we're going to talk about today, what we're seeing in the real world, tangible benefits from this Windows 11 Copilot Plus, what's actually happening. Not the, dare I say it, the presentations you're seeing and suffering, but what we're seeing in conversations, both we're internally using it, what we're seeing from our customers, how we're seeing that AI, or particularly Copilot and Copilot Plus PCs, are making a real difference to people in their daily life, but also to help you understand how you can go back and measure that inside your organization. And I'm quite sure we'll spin out from that into a couple of different questions. So with that, let's open up, let's dive in on this one, Ash. So what are you seeing when it looks at the real Windows 11 Copilot AI outcomes? What are you and your customers seeing at the minute?
It's a mixed bag. I mean, there's some real positive outcomes with AI, but there's still, as always, there's so much training and learning to be done, because we find that obviously you have to separate AI and Copilot, and you have to separate Microsoft 365 Copilot and Copilot Plus PC, which is completely different premise and can achieve very different things. And we still find, when talking to customers, there's a bit of confusion. If we say that, if you invest now in this Copilot Plus laptop, it's going to see you for years and years, and you can run small language models, and who knows what's coming around the corner, and you'll get X, Y, Z, better security, better battery life, better performance, and so on. And then the customer sometimes says, well, I've already got Copilot, and you then have to go through the explanation of what the differences are. But in terms of I mean, we're seeing customers with Copilot Plus PCs, we're seeing customers in particular verticals, could be healthcare or law or finance, starting to run small language models that run locally. And it means that they keep the data on the device. It doesn't go into the cloud. They know that for a fact, and they can trust it. It means it runs very efficiently and very fast and very locally. And it means they don't have to have a network connection. And I think it's for these companies who are starting to really think strategically about what they can do to make their workflow more efficient, getting the best outcomes from it. I mean, in terms of the actual Microsoft Copilot Plus features, there are some great features, and, Microsoft, clearly they've gone all in, all guns blazing with Copilot, and there's so much coming down the road. And sorry, I'll stop talking a sec, but that's the one thing we say. Look, you might not see it today, you might not see it in a month, but every single week there's new things happening in this sphere. And if you don't sort of invest in the technology today, you could be out of sorts with ever in a year, 2 years, 3 years, when you keep that device for so many years.
I really like some of the things you said there. And I think for me, the underlying message, and correct me, but this is investment in AI needs training and adoption, and it needs education on the different AIs. One of the points you made there is, I mean, you can throw a stick and it's going to land on 150 different vendors selling AI. Everyone is selling AI, and we have to be careful they're not talking about artificially intelligent instead of artificial intelligence, because a lot of people have been doing things for years and then branded it as AI. Now, the thing I find, and again, I'd love your perspective on this, we've already gone off the reservation with regards to what we were going to talk about, but when you look at all these AI models, they're siloed. They're not necessarily designed to work with each other, because everyone is protecting their piece of the pie. When we go and look at Copilot on the device, Copilot in the cloud, Copilot Studio, Copilot for Enterprise, when we go and look at that, what we're actually seeing is a homologated AI system that works across all of those sort of operational methods. Whereas when we go out and we buy AI from product B or from product C, and I'm not going to use other names, it's not important, they're not designed to work together. I think maybe that's part of the education. So really, I'd take your perspective on this. How do you think that's happening within business? Are they understanding the difference between buying off-the-shelf product A or Copilot feature set, so to speak?
Well, I think that ultimately the answer is Some do, some don't, but most generally don't. Because let's face it, I mean, this has happened so quickly, in such a relatively short space of time. And I really feel for the customers we talk to, because they've got 1,001 things on their plate. The IT managers we talk to are so busy with so many different things, and this to try and unpick what is essentially still a new technology and a new industrial wave. And so it's still finding its feet in some regards. And so it's so difficult for them. And we try our best, CDW is so good at this, and we try our best as well to go into the customers and try and explain it and say, take a step back. This is the reality. This is where it's going. This is where you need to focus your attention on. But it is very, very difficult. It's very complicated. And I mean, it's changing every single day. And it's kind of learning to run before you can walk in some regard. People just need to take a step back, I think. But the problem is, yeah, everyone's developing it. Everyone's pouring money into it like we've never seen before. It is essentially completely changing the business world, full stop. I mean, in terms of energy and everything, it's just crazy. But it's feeding itself now, and I can't see it slowing down. So yeah, as we keep going back to training and education of your staff, and is
Yeah.
so important.
And you're right. AI has become a bit of a behemoth, but people are starting, and I'm seeing this in individuals, people who don't even work in IT, they're starting to understand what prompt management is, or prompt engineering.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm seeing people, and I've shared this story anecdotally, but it's really interesting. I'll see people storing quotes that gave them a good output in Notepad, and a real basic Notepad. But the next time they have to ask a question, they copy, paste, and adjust the little bits they need to, because they know that what they get out of it does what they need.
Yeah.
But the bit of training we're missing is, I'm seeing AI, and again, we're going to go massively left field here. I'm seeing my Copilot becoming my digital twin. I give it my targets. I give it my PMP objectives for the year. I tell it what I'm measured on, and this is in a work environment. And I ask it to say, let's store this in your permanent memory. You are my advisor, my muse, whatever you want to call it. And throughout the rest of the year, when I ask you for support in creation or imagination or whatever it is, these will be your underlining driving sort of basis. And the thing I've not heard said very much for those listening is AI is becoming my digital twin. And is that the correct usage of this?
It's ultimately, that goes back to the question, the people who's going to really survive in this new world and navigate these stormy waters are the people who do leverage AI capabilities and who do get used to them. You have to learn fast, as the quick and the dead, as they say. You have to learn fast, and you have to use these new tools because everyone else will be. And actually, a digital twin, a digital assistant, something, your companion that can help you make you more efficient and faster and better than everyone else in the office, it's got to be a good thing. And likewise, for a student or a professional in a work environment, if other people are using these tools, they're going to be better than you. As simple as that. They're going to be faster, more efficient, and company to company as well. So yeah, I think digital twins, amazing. I mean, still, it takes ages for us to get our head around it, but it's when you use it, and that's the thing with AI, you have to push it. You don't just tentatively ask it to do simple things. Really, really push it, push Copilot and make it do really difficult things. And then that's when you reap the benefits.
Absolutely. And it's weird. I always liken this one back to, do you use spell checker? Well, isn't that where the computer helps you be a better version of yourself? And AI is your next sort of revision. And I know I'm going off a little bit there, but okay, look, we've done that one to death. So I'm going to drop into something else.
Yeah.
If you're going out and you're buying an AI PC, you're buying a device with an NPU, a neural processing unit, and an absolute amazing capability on board. And we know about how some of that sits in the operating system and manages device utilization and improves battery life cycle. Really simple thing. But then what I want to kind of get across is, when a customer invests in an AI PC, where do they get value beyond Microsoft Copilot feature? Yeah, how's that device enabling them to do more, or will allow them to do more in the next week, month, year, couple of years for the life cycle of that device?
Well, I do think it's really important. And again, I'm talking from a technology perspective. It's not just Lenovo, it's our competitors as well. But because Microsoft were very clever with this, and they said when you get the Copilot Plus PC, that's not a stamp that it can create pictures for you, and it has all these great AI features. You can in Microsoft Studio and so on. But the important thing is, like you say, just going back to the first bit, is that you're going to get a device which is insane good battery life, insane performance, because it has to hit a certain capability, that it's going to be amazingly secure because it's a secure core PC. So these are the kind of levels that you have to hit to call it a Copilot Plus PC. It's going to have Microsoft Pluton, which is a very, very high-end onboard security, and Windows Hello. And so you know that you're going to get a good device, full stop. And I guess the really important thing, moving beyond the features, the software features that the Microsoft OS and Microsoft give you that only run on a Copilot Plus, is, as I was saying before, the capability of running small language models efficiently using this MPU. And for most people, they may have heard of GPU and CPU, but they don't care. I mean, they just want it to run. They want it to run well. You want it to be secure. You want it to have long battery life. You want it to be fast, and you don't want it to crash. And so these devices give them all that. But it also, and what they don't realize, but the IT manager knows, is that I mentioned before, it is this forward future compatibility. It means that when all these new small language model, and when I say small language, it's you can run the models on a Copilot Plus PC, 8 billion parameters quite easily. And you can run larger models if you have a graphics card, of course, and you can do all these things. But the thing is, the Copilot Plus has this MPU, which does it amazingly efficiently. It does it way more efficiently than a graphics card. And 8 billion parameters, as AI models getting more and more and more efficient, is actually an insane amount of processing power. So we just at the V1, really, in some regards. There's so much is going to happen over the next few years. And that's what you get when you invest a bit more in these products today.
And interestingly, if you want to go past the 8 billion parameter, you've also got the ThinkStation PGX, which is a shared resource capability, which is an interesting tool going forward, but maybe more into the development area of the world. But I had my hands playing with one of those yesterday, and it's some pretty impressive kit.
Yeah, let's keep on track. Quite impressed you had one, actually, because I don't even have one.
Oh, yeah, I've guarded it. It's in a locked room with limited access, and I let people hold it and tap them down before they leave, just check they haven't taken it with them. And look, what you're saying about there is absolutely right on the AI PC. So let's go to the third angle. I'm a procurement director, I'm CIO, and are you telling me that everyone needs an AI PC, or is there a balance to be found in how I provision that in my organization? And I guess I'm going to ask you, Ash, here, the question is, how do I find that balance? Is there a secret sauce? Is there something I need to do? What's the best way to decide my balance of AI PC across my current organization?
And well, that's incredibly difficult. I mean, first, going back to the beginning, when people say AI PC, that can often mean what we sort of my team call AI Lite, which is a processor which has a very small MPU, so about 10 or 11 tops or trillion operations per second in terms of its AI performance, when it has to be 4 or 5 times as powerful as that to be a Copilot Plus PC. So we've heard of organizations who bought into AI PC, then realized that they couldn't run Copilot Plus locally because it wasn't a true one. So there's a lot of learning we have there. We will try and eschew the benefits that we've been talking about of not so much Copilot Plus PC, but actually the future proofing and the battery life and the performance and the security, and you're getting one of the best laptops you can buy today. And in these days, well, the prices are really going up from the component suppliers, and it's a bit of a mare out there at the moment in terms of pricing. So you're not paying twice as much, you're paying a little bit more for a device, which actually you might be able to sweat it for another year or even another 2 years, rather than having the standard cycle of that device. And you've got to look at it over the long term in terms of security and being a product which you can still use in 4 or 5 years and it's still relevant and still has the power. And I know it's so difficult to think when everyone's worried about budgets. It's so difficult to think ahead. And we still have customers who will say, we loved what you said and we think it's brilliant, but we've purchased to competitors because they were £1 per unit cheaper. And it's just, you can't think like that. You have to think in the long term and the life of the device.
And I'm going to sound like a salesperson here, but for me, it's also the CDW value here is that 5-year asset sweat. You've got the device lifecycle that isn't bound to a single person. There's a service we do called JML, which is basically a logistics delivery, collect, recycle, restock, resupply, which means you can buy a top-end device for your top-end employees, your developers or CEO, whoever wants it. And in 2-3 years' time, you don't refresh that for a new device and then bin the old one. You actually refresh the old device and move it down the food chain to somebody who has a persona that doesn't require the same level of compute power. But again, with SaaS-based services, these devices, you rightly say, if they're looked after well enough, they are going to give you 3, 5, 7 years. And we already know from an ESG footprint, keyboard replacement, battery replacement, screen replacement, it's becoming 4-screw, half-an-hour job. It's going to be far easier than even it was maybe a year or two ago to keep these devices running. And the NPU and the CPU and the GPU, it's not like a car engine with high mileage, it starts going slower. That compute capability remains in the device. There's no other way of putting it, but an AI investment is required. But it's not that you have to put 100% in today. You have to see it as a strategic investment that you're going to build on over the next 3 to 5 years.
And actually, I mean, that's a really good point you mentioned. If you look at, I think organizations have to have a closer look at personas, where it used to be the salespeople are out and about, mobile, thin, light, expensive, and then the people who are more in the office to get the more mundane, basic products. But actually, you really have to consider where AI is going and what tools you might be using and how much, if you're going to be leveraging local AI power, because the ability and actually the benefit from that local AI power might not be with the people in the field. It might be with the people in the office. So there's just so much more to think about, which is why it's difficult, which is why people need to talk to CDW about this, because it is so complicated, and it's a complication on top of a million other complications that our customers already have, unfortunately.
Agreed. And I'm going to close with a statement I shared at the Frontier Foundation event we ran last year. And we did a financial analysis between running a Copilot assessment in the cloud, which is a chargeable event, you pay for that, to running it on a device. And there was enough in certain use case scenarios. I looked at an insurance assessment scenario. I think you paid for the AI device based on what you were saving from cloud compute costs over a period of about 9 months. And it was like, ugh. So you've got to start looking 4-dimensional. It's not cost of device. It's impact value. And sometimes it can be subjective. I get it. But cost saving from moving compute, which is just as possible on my device or my mobile device even sometimes. Moving your compute onto the end user device is a cost saving in its own right. And I think that's the thing where we need to move into perspective to look wider.
I didn't even get into license fees. Yes, you're quite right.
But there's also the cost to compute. And you can touch on this one. If I'm running a battery-powered laptop unplugged, although I need to charge the laptop up, technically I'm running a compute capability on that device at a zero cost from an environment perspective. It's not on the Wi-Fi, it's disconnected, it's using its local capability. And I know people can pull me apart and say, well, that power came from somewhere. It did, you can't make it up. But it's a far more efficient way because the user doesn't have to travel or create connectivity to run that. They can run the small language model on their device.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to wrap up with a few clear messages for me that stand out. Is AI is not theoretical anymore. It's delivering a tangible value, and we're seeing this in our customers. Faster workflows, it is impacting how security runs on an end user device, the ability to run small language models, the ability to do agentic coding on your own device as well, all starting to make a difference, especially on the Copilot plus PCs. But the real differentiator isn't maybe just the hardware or the features. It's how the organizations are training, adopting, and given a clear understanding of the different layers of AI across devices, cloud, and enterprise, and understanding that needs to be connected from top to bottom. For those listening, we've shown that investing in an AI PC is a strategic move. Better performance, we are saying and expecting and seeing a longer device life, definitely improved security, down at, as you were saying, the Pluton there. And ability to shift compute around to where it's most efficiently. Where do you put that workload? Where's the most efficient place to have that workload running? As we wrap up the closing message, success isn't about buying AI everywhere. It's about understanding the personas, where local compute or the workload can be placed locally, and how we can enable people to make the biggest difference. And I think start now, build the knowledge, and treat AI as an investment like you would any other capital investment. With that, I'd like to say thank you, Ash. I was Tim Russell, your host. I look forward to meeting you all again on the next podcast.
For more great insight. Don't forget to subscribe via your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. We appreciate your support. And if you have a topic you want us to cover, feel free to reach out. Catch you next time.